Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447.
Looking for the ultimate island experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
Yeah. Right along live. Welcome to the live. Welcome to Tuesday on the live. What's pissing you off? Yeah. It's what's upsetting you. What's making you mad? What's pissing you off today? Yeah, man. So, guys, it's your day. The day that we dedicate to hear from you, the viewers, on things that are just affecting them, right? Affecting you. And later, we'll be joined by attorney Jerry Edwin, and he will kind of guide us through some of the legal conversation in regards to bail, filing bail application, right? And not only that, because I realize one of the things that been upsetting a lot of people for the whole entire day, people was talking about it, is the recent police-involved shooting that happened in Victoria just last week. I remember I was there. I wasn't on the scene. I was 5 minutes away when it all happened. But in case you've been hiding under a rock, the police officer was arrested and charged. 2 charges, right? The police officer was charged for the murder, for the shooting, death of Wellington Welch. And the police officer was remanded to His Majesty's prison. Today, the police officer was granted bail. So, of course, a lot of people talking about it. People are saying that it's prejudice. People are saying that it's not right. People are not liking how that's sung. So we'll talk about that. And Jerry Edwin, of course, is a lawyer, and he have all the information in regards to that. Okay? We'll chat on that. Also, how you guys doing? Nice. Alice, how you doing? Yeah. Big up yourself. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the stars, guys. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about, and this is a big one, right? The new Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamala Persad-Bessessa, is talking about curbing crime, right? She's speaking about a very controversial way in curbing crime. On the campaign trail, she spoke about stand your ground rules, right? She spoke about making it a little bit easier for law-abiding citizens to get firearms, right? Because as far as the administration, what they're saying is the only thing that she believed that could stop a bad boy with a gun is a good boy with a gun, a good boy or girl with a gun. So what I'm getting from the administration is increasing the amount of guns in the hands of legal guns in the hands of law-abiding citizens will somehow curb that issue, right? Now, I have my reservations with that because we have conversation in the United States about the same thing, right? So I have a strong belief about that idea, and we're going to talk about it as well. Good night to you, Cinda. Pick up yourself. Thank you so much. So share the program, guys. Jerry's going to be here in a short while. He's just talking to the judge. He's going to be joining us shortly. So before we bring on Jerry, I want to play back that clip. Gordon Etienne, I'm supporting firearm for all. Well, that is a good conversation to have, eh? That is indeed a great conversation to have. And we will get to it, right? And I want everyone who have contrasting ideas and opinions on firearms, let us have this conversation. But first, let's have this conversation. As I said earlier, last week in St. Mark, as I said earlier, was a very, 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 very sad celebration, wind down to the celebration. We saw the video. Right Along Live were able to obtain a surveillance video that somehow showed, and I think that particular video assisted in the police in the investigation and the arrests and charges filed against their own. So Noel, I think he's our inspector, he was charged for that offense. Now, I want to play back that clip, right? Because MTV News did a story on it, and it sort of put it all into perspective, right? And we'll talk about it on the other side. By that time, Jerry might come in as well, so we'll get a chance to speak to Jerry on it. If not, we'll continue to take your call. So this is the story, guys. Take a look and take a listen.
Application by his attorney, Benjamin Hood, in the High Court. However, as of news time, the amount and conditions of the bail have not been disclosed. Noel made his first court appearance at the Magistrates' Court in St. George under heavy police presence, including several high-ranking officers. He is charged with non-capital murder in connection with the death of 46-year-old Wellington Welsh, also known as Wello, a caretaker from non-parochial St. Mark. The incident reportedly occurred on Sunday, April 27th, during a shooting in the same parish. Noel also faces 2 additional charges of grievous harm. MTV News spoke with Welsh's sister, Keisha Welsh, outside the courthouse. Visibly upset, she criticized what she perceived as a biased process and called for all individuals accused of crimes to be treated equally.
Because I didn't want to see him. I know him on Facebook. I don't know him in person. But I didn't want to see who is he killing. You understand? What I'm saying is that, what good for the goose, good for the gander, ain't it? Why they have to bring Kellan inside it? Why they didn't pass him here as other prisoner? So because he's a police, all you have to go and hide him inside it. No, pass him out here like how you think. Just as how you know to hold a gun to shoot my brother down. Just so they could pass him here to let everybody, let the crowd see him too. Because he hold a gun to shoot him down, they didn't hide him when he shoot him. Ain't it? Why you hide him for now? You hide him to come in and you hide him to go out. Is that fair?
She also spoke about how Welsh children and other family members are coping with his loss.
The father think them children don't taking it. How them children they won't take it nice.
How old are they?
The next one is 21. I think the girl maybe about maybe 18, 19.
Yeah, because the big boy
Yes,
finished school
yeah,
PDC.
born a girl.
So, you know.
Criminal defense attorney Anselm Clouden is representing the Welsh family.
There should be no preference. All accused persons should be treated equally, pari passu, equal treatment before the law. That is the fundamental principle on which fairness and justice is based. There should be no perception of preference to any accused person. Okay? And this is what was demonstrated this morning. It's unfortunate because criminal matters are public. This is a public trial, a public inquiry, and therefore the public, as is the custom, is entitled to see the transgressor, the defendant or the accused. The signal that is being given to the public at large is that something is amiss. The court was filled this morning with police officers of high rank. That gives a very confusing perception to the public at large. And one can only hope that justice would prevail in this matter.
The preliminary inquiry into the charges is scheduled to begin on August 25th at the Victoria Magistrates Court. For MTV News, Troy Gill.
All right, thank you so much, Troy Gill from MTV News, for that story. And that's kind of set the premise for the conversation here today, right? Serious matter, serious question, guys. The question of bail, I want to leave that for Jerry to speak about, right? But I want to contrast that. When Jerry come on, he'll talk about that. But I want to contrast that with another story that was sent to my WhatsApp today. Let me get the story. So the story says here, known underworld in the underworld circle as the Carnage Done, police on Tuesday brought Damien Jigga Duperdine before Acting Chief Magistrate Francine Foster on 2 criminal charges. The accused was slapped with charges of possession of illegal firearm and assault with a deadly weapon. The criminal charges are related to a shooting incident on Saturday close to the Grand Anse Beach. One resident of the south of the island said that they heard 4 shots, 2 in the first instance, and then 2 a few moments shortly thereafter. They said that speculations are rife that Jigga might have fired the shot. So there's speculation that he fired the shot at the person from the south who fired first at him in a conflict involving rival gang. That's what the story said. The so-called Carnage Don was denied bail and remained on remand at the Richmond Hill prison until the 26th, when he's due to be back in court, right? So he was demand bail. Now, I don't want to get into what or who. I don't know the guy, but I'm just looking at this particular story here. Both stories presented. That's what pissing off a lot of people. Now, the first story that we heard involved the police officer that was arrested and charged for the death of Wellington Welch. Now, as far as I heard, the guy was a calm guy, a calm person, good-spirited individual, police officer, never had these type of altercations before. All indication the guy is someone that is, not a troublemaker. Nevertheless, the way how he was treated was far different. For one, folks might say, well, why was he granted bail? right? Why was bail granted in this particular case, in contrast to the second story involving this young man here who was not granted bail? So, what people are saying and speculating here is that there are two types of conditions that exist, two types of laws that exist. One, if you are a police officer or someone that is probably known or in a certain circle, and two, if you are not. Secondly, what is pissing off a lot of people, namely the family members of Wellington Welsh. They're saying the police officer came there, or the police officer was brought there on charges, but he never got a chance to do the perp walk where everybody could see him. Now, everybody else did the perp walk. Everybody else would come through that area and walk, and some of them hide their face, right? We've seen that. Yes. Hold on. Let me put that up on the screen so you guys could call in at any time. Everyone saw that. You come through, police officer behind you, some of them are handcuffed, and they do the walk right into the courtroom. That didn't happen in this case right here because he was entered into a private area where no one else was able to see him. And then he was escorted back out. I don't know if you, I hope you guys saw and heard what the lawyer said, you know. Listen it again. Listen to the story one more time, guys. Listen to the story one more time. Listen this again. This is really pissing off the family. Listen closely.
Several high-ranking officers. He is charged with non-capital murder in connection with the death of 46-year-old Wellington Welsh, also known as Wello, a caretaker from Non-Parial St. Mark. The incident reportedly occurred on Sunday, April 27th, during a shooting in the same parish. Noel also faces 2 additional charges of grievous harm. MTV News spoke with Welsh's sister, Keisha Welsh, outside the courthouse. Visibly upset, she criticized what she perceived as a biased process and called for all individuals accused of crimes to be treated equally.
Because I didn't want to see him. I know him on Facebook. I don't know him in person. But I didn't want to see who is he killing. You understand? What I'm saying is that, what good for the goose, good for the gander, ain't it? Why they have to bring Kellan inside it? Why they didn't pass him here as other prisoner? So because he's a police, all you have to go and hide him inside it? No, pass him out here like how you think. Just as how you know to hold the gun to shoot me brother down. Just so they could pass him here to let everybody, let the crowd see him too. Because he hold the gun to shoot him down, they didn't hide him when he shoot him. Ain't it? Why you hide him for now? You hide him to come in and you hide him to go out. Is that fair?
She also spoke about how Welsh children and other family members are coping with his loss.
The father think them children don't take it. They won't take it nice.
How old are they?
The next one is 21. I think the girl maybe about 18, 19.
Yeah, because the big boy
finished school born a girl.
So, yeah.
Criminal defense attorney Anselm Clouden is representing the Welsh family.
There should be no preference. All accused persons should be treated equally, pari passu, equal treatment before the law. That is the fundamental principle on which fairness and justice is based. There should be no perception of preference to any accused person. Okay? And this is what was demonstrated this morning. It's unfortunate because criminal matters are public. This is a public trial, a public inquiry, and therefore the public, as is the custom, is entitled to see the transgressor, the defendant or the accused. The signal that is being given to the public at large is that something is amiss. The court was filled this morning with police officers of high rank. That gives a very confusing perception to the public at large. And one can only hope that justice would prevail in this matter.
The preliminary inquiry into the charges is scheduled to begin on August 25th at the Victoria Magistrates Court. For MTV News, Troy Gill.
All right, so that was the story again replayed. Now, the question at hand, guys, and I completely understand. I was waiting for Jerry to come in to answer that question because these two situations are very, very different. One, and you guys clearly saw in the first instant, the police officer, hold on, let me see if I could take that call in. That's probably some, hello? 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 Hello?
Good night, Junior.
Hey, are you calling for the program?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Caller, go right ahead. You turn on your background a little bit though.
What I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
It's a very unfortunate situation because both parties are involved, right? Everybody wants justice for their family. But you have to remember, and I'm speaking of both parties.
Right.
The young man, the inspector, did his time as a very good citizen of Grenada. No matter whether he killed 1, 2, or 3, you have to protect him. Even the criminal is protected.
Right.
You understand? Condolence to the family, right? Nobody wants to see their family goes down like that. But on the other hand, the guy is a good citizen. He's a servant of Grenada. And if he's making any court appearance, we as Grenada know how he does behave. So I think, all fairness, the force have right to protect him as well. We cannot bring back the dead.
Right.
2 wrongs don't make a right.
So are you
but
saying
he needs to be protected?
Are you saying that Anselm Clouden and the family therefore is wrong to expect that the police officer should have to walk down like everyone else? Instead, the police officer should be escorted privately and sent out privately.
Yes, and I think Mr. Clouden for himself knows that. I think he's not speaking truthfully. Reason being, he knows in any other situation, whether the person is a police officer, a travel worker, they have to be protected. Somebody kill your child. The court date is coming up. We know what it's going to be like. So rather unfair, you have to protect the guy. And I think the media, right? Yes, he committed the crime. For what reason? You know, whether by an accident or something just happened. He's a good citizen. Willow was a good citizen. The inspector is a good citizen. Give Jackie jacket and give Jill she draws. They have to protect this police officer, whether in the court or whether in the prison.
Right.
I sure the inspector is sitting there and don't even know what to make of it for himself. We already lost a good citizen. We can expect to lose another one. I mean, I know how the people feel because I know why it is to lose somebody, but we have to protect our own as well. We have to protect the right of the inspector. Look at his background. He was never a wicked guy. Things happen, and we can't even explain why it happened. I could understand the parents, I could understand the children, but please, sometimes the guy family lost in words. They can't even know how to face the family of the dead because they don't know what to expect. It's right. I don't think they mean anything, but I think long and short, we need to protect the inspector. Right? Okay. I'm not saying he's right in this situation, but we need to do better as Grenadians.
Right.
And I think the force have rights. This is one of them.
Yeah, but the question that everyone is asking, is protect him from what?
Protect him from the people.
Right.
You don't know what people can do. Sometimes you just see the girl, somebody killed my son. I grieve over it. but I'm waiting for him to attend the court. Sometimes you don't you go there peacefully and you see the guy and something just flip in your head. Look at the guy that killed the guy in Grand Anse. They all was friends, but everybody swam the court to wait for him. We are human beings. We know what is expected. We know what could happen.
Okay.
So we have right to protect that inspector. You don't know what people is thinking.
All right, caller.
You standing up here and you're thinking, okay, it's all well and good. He going to the court. When he coming out, he get there, which you not expected to. How can I think would happen?
Right. Okay.
We have grieving parents, grieving families.
On both
we
sides.
Know what to expect.
On both sides.
On both sides.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate situation. And I think the lawyer of the family knows that. So don't make it look like, it's the worst thing the force did. It's not the worst. He's a human being too.
Right.
Willow is a human being. The situation is bad. Don't make it worse.
Yeah. All right, caller. Thank you so much for your input on this, right?
Okay.
Appreciate you. Yeah. 718-701-5720 is the number. And as you guys said, and was asking, protect him from who in particular? Here's what I think, right? Here's what I think. And I go back to the first story and the second story and why I brought up the both stories, right? I believe that the family, this is a tragic incident, and both families would lose here, right? Willow family, they are going through a lot. And at that time, they're saying there was nobody to protect him. Right now, he's dead, right? As it relates to the police officer, yes, most times if someone is walking to the court, there are police officers there and make sure that people don't come out or throw missiles at the individual. That area is cordoned off. However, having him privately escorted, I am not aware of the full procedure. Hence the reason why I thought it was very interesting and important to have Jerry Edwin on the program, who has not yet logged in, so he could add clarity to this. Now, the question that we all are still asking, sending him to the back or walking him out or escorting him in that kind of way is protecting him from what? From people seeing him? I'm not sure of a situation where people came up to the court knowing that all these police officers there will throw stones or rocks that's not going to happen. That never happened before. As far as in previous times, I've never seen that. So the question still remains, protect him from what? So I agree, right? Although, again, we were saying that this young man, he's a police officer, Inspector Noel, a good guy as far as what I heard from everyone. He, of course, came up through the ranks, but he is charged. He has 2 serious charges. Not a Mickey Mouse charge. It's 2 serious charges. I just think that the procedure of having him escorted in that way, I think that he probably should just they should have him do the walk, as Anselm Clouden and the family suggested. Secondly, I want to go back to the story because I preface it by stating that the story with the known the Jigger from the Carenage area, that story is a totally different story, and I completely understand. What I want to get at is the procedures and why bail is granted in one instant and not granted in other instant. Now, there were a bill that was passed, and it relates to illegal firearm, and I'm very, very much aware of that. And I think, in a lot of ways, it's a good preventative method of curbing illegal firearms on the street. If you're caught with an illegal firearm, you will not be granted bail. That is true, that is factual, And that's something that I endorse. In the other instant, the police officer was not toting around an illegal firearm. He was a police officer. And in his defense, he might say he was operating in the jurisdiction, in the jurisdiction of the law. He was doing what he was trained to do. Who knows what will come out after this? So I'm aware of the two instances I brought it forth. So we'll see the difference. Not that I agree that there should be bail for one, for him. But these are two instances. And this is where we'll get Jerry Edwin. Let me come back up and see if Jerry is ready to join us anytime now. But in the meantime, guys, you could call in live. The number 718-701-5720. That's 718-701-5720. That's the conversation here, and it's what's pissing you off on the ride. Again, the number 718-701-5720. And tell us what's your thoughts on this particular story right here, right? The story involving the police officer that was granted bail in this particular story, and reference anything else, right? Jerry's connection is coming in, but he is lagging a bit. Let me try this right here. Let me try this one more time. So again, got the number 718-701-5720. Still connecting, still connecting. All right. Still connecting, guys. Kibbs is saying, interestingly, in England, police officers don't carry firearms. All right, guys. I want to move into second gear until Jerry come back on this to tell us the prerequisite and what has to be met, the bar that needs to be met before bail is granted. So let me take that call. I have a call coming in. Grab this call here live.
Yes, good evening.
Hey, caller, you live? Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now loud and clear.
Okay, go ahead, caller. You're live.
Yeah. In regards to that, I think there's supposed to be fairness of the law, meaning that whatever is done to one should be done to the other, as Mr. Clouden rightly said. Now, the point that the caller made just a while ago about for the protection of the officer. So, if this is not protection for the officer, then for other persons who are charged, would that be protection for them? It means, therefore, then that the law is foul enough because you're not protecting everybody. And if you have to protect everybody in the way that you protected the officer, then do so and protect everybody. Otherwise than that, then you're putting people at risk. Thank you very much.
Hold on, caller. So you're saying that instead of he being specially escorted through a secret entrance, he should have walked down like everybody else.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Point well taken.
Because if passing everybody else the normal ways which they pass is not protection for them, then that means therefore the law is taking a risk with you or anybody else who is charged that they're actually putting you at a risk.
Right.
And therefore that's a claim. That's a claim that they are making. That we are putting you at a risk when we walk you down that way.
Yeah. So
it means therefore that all have to change, not just for the officer, but everybody else.
Caller, on the question of bail, right? Do you think that he being a police officer, he not being a flight risk, he having a pretty polished reputation, not that of any criminal activity or anything like that, you think that is right and just that he was granted bail in this particular case here?
Well, as I quite rightly say, the same equality for everybody. persons who have committed the same crime are given bail. You know, when a person commits murder or capital murder, they actually granted bail in Grenada. So it means, therefore, then that he should be able to get bail also.
Right. And that is
So it's about
that's a good point of view. And I wanted Jerry to come in and chime in on that. But great point of view, caller. Thank you so much for your input. Okay.
no problem.
All right. Thank you so much. Got another caller on the WhatsApp. Caller on the WhatsApp. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Junior. Good evening.
Hey.
You're listening at it.
Yes.
You hear me, right?
Yes.
So they say the gentleman was a good citizen, eh?
Uh-huh.
And he was an inspector of police. Is that giving him the right up to be a good citizen because of his ranks? And because let's go back to the day. Somebody in the right thinking would go in a crowd and fire shot, Junior. You think somebody in the right head would do that? Having that kind of caliber and ranks in the force? You think that was called for?
Right.
Was there other people firing shot? I look at video several times where the young man from Victoria do the video.
Uh-huh.
And from day one, people were saying it is the police that shoot the guy. And they was denying, no, there's other people in the crowd. But the video was saying that from day one, but they was denying it.
Mm-hmm.
They bring him in court and you have to hide him and all this kind. He was a risk to the public. Usually, when people do crime, they pass them in front of the public. They don't hide them. So how do you see him as a risk? He on bail now at the moment. He could be a risk outside as well. He's on bail.
Right. But a couple things that are taken into consideration, right? Because I know of people that are on non-capital murder that get bail.
Yeah.
There are conditions. There will be conditions, and it might be a higher bail amount, but there will be conditions. You know, especially if the person is not a flight risk, right?
Yes.
There are ways like they could take their passport, you know, all these things could be done to ensure that the person show up to court. Essentially, they want the person to stay so that when the time for court, they come to court and they answer the charges. So
you remember?
Yeah.
You remember in the last court hearing, they didn't mention nothing about what the term that is, Junior, when they have to take your passport, report to the police station. There's a term they use. I can't remember it now. But they never mentioned nothing about that, you know, about the gentleman. Whether he have to visit the police station or report or they took his passport. Nothing like that was mentioned in the news.
Well, there will be conditions. In any bail, there will be conditions, right?
But at least they should have mentioned it.
Right. And I'll find the specific conditions in regards to his case. But I know of many individuals on non-capital murder that end up getting bail. So there is nothing new because he's a police officer. And as people said that, okay, well, because he's a police officer, he got bail, right? And I read the second statement as it relates to the other gentleman that was held on gun charges, because clearly they're trying to curb illegal firearm off the street. So he did not get bail. So a lot of people, even someone sent it to me earlier, they said, but how come he didn't get bail and he got bail? Contrasting, but it's a major difference. It's a big difference between the two, right?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
mentioned a while ago that they had passed a law, once they hold you now with a firearm, you're not entitled to bail.
Right. Surrender all travel documents. I see someone say surrender all travel documents. I believe I heard that, but again, I could check the exact conditions as it relates to his bail. Someone say he have to surrender all travel documents. He's not a flight risk, yeah, those are some of the conditions that he would have.
But again, Junior,
Uh-huh.
I think Grenadians need to be more fair and balancing their thinking and reasoning on social media pertaining to this incident. Because at the end of the day, if it was someone else who shot that man, people would think different and say, send him to jail, let him rot in jail, you know? People would make all kind of comments, you know? So I think we must think as a people, because this could have happened to any one of us,
Right.
on either side.
So you're saying that
You
if
know?
if the situation was a little bit different and we had a civilian or someone with a illegal fire or someone with another firearm, whatever, that did this,
Yeah.
everyone would have been
Yeah,
cheering
Yeah.
to lock him up and don't give him no bail.
yeah. That's how Grenadians behave, some of us.
Right.
But I think we have to be fair and put ourselves in the people who are suffering case. You know?
Right. All right, caller.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your input, okay?
Yeah, have a good day, sir.
718-701-5720. That's my number here. You could call us right now. We're talking about this particular story. Before we shift gear into the other story I want to talk about, still a very relevant topic, guys. The question of bail. And where is Jerry? Because we need the lawyer input on this, a legal feedback on this. Jerry is talking to the magistrate still. All right. Okay, guys. Jerry's gonna come. All right, give Jerry a little bit of time. He'll come and clear this up for us. Okay. All right, let me see what else pissing you off there. Granted, bail is due to process. Why so much ignorance, regardless of the offense committed? Granting bail is due process. Yes, it's right, and you're right, Akeem. There are cases where someone on non-capital murder will get bail. There are some cases someone on the same charge may not get bail. There are conditions, especially the person might be, as I said earlier, a flight risk. Might be a risk that that person would leave the jurisdiction, and they don't want that, so they'll hold the person. So those are some of the reasons why those were granted. So it is due process. Every person is entitled to bail, and it could be denied. It could be denied. A bail application will almost in all cases be presented. 718-701-5720. You can call us live. See the call coming in. Let me take this call. Caller, you live? Where are you calling us from?
Calling from Brooklyn. Good afternoon, Junior. Good afternoon to your listeners.
Brooklyn, New York. All right.
Every accused person has a right to bail based on the information presented by the prosecution.
Yes.
So the police officer has a right to bail like any other person who's charged. The police officer may have a very clean record. Many of us are speaking, we don't know what was in his mind. It could have been an accident. It could have been on purpose. It could have been misjudgment. It could have been, he might have been influenced by something that did not allow him to have a sane or stable mind. He could have slipped and fall. We don't know. Two families are grieving. I think the thing that they need to look at with regard to that incident, if you look at some of the videos, you realize that people in the area were very upset after the incident. The response after the gentleman was shot on the ground. From my assessment, in speaking to somebody, it took me about 45 minutes before the crime scene was secured.
Right.
Were there sufficient officers? And what I have seen in a video, I saw people inside of a police station and I saw one police only in uniform. The other people at the back, they were police officers, they look like civilians. So was the police time under stress with all of the commotion taking place? We don't know. But I think basic policing, basic care and attention for people who are injured must be a priority for citizens and especially for paid employees of the state. So if somebody got shot, somebody should have been trying to render assistance immediately. Looking at the video, you did not see a big riot where there were guns and cutlasses and bombs and missiles being thrown. Civilians came to aid the guy. The guy where he fell was moved from Diamond Street onto Queen Street in front of the police station before he could have been taken and put in a vehicle. I don't think it was an ambulance to go and get some medical care. No ice, no oxygen. I mean, we got to wake up. We have a bigger problem both among our civilian population and the police. Because basic policing requires that you secure a crime scene as quickly as you can. Why didn't they do it? I don't know. As a matter of fact, I saw videos with probably about 8 police officers going on a back alley. I don't know if they was going for the suspect, but even then, the crime scene was not secured in any way. People were walking through, vehicles drove through. We have a serious problem. We need to address it. Training for the police, because obviously a senior police officer to fire gunshots in a large crowd like that is something. So we need to have training for those people, and we need to be proactive in terms of when those big events, make sure that we have sufficient resources there, police as well as medical personnel. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yeah, hold on.
My
Before you go,
sympathy is
you made a point there, and I think it needs to be echoed, right? You see, when you're having events like these, uh, you have police, but where are the ambulance? You have to expect the unexpected. Like I know who I'm speaking with, and in any instant of like a large celebration we have in New York or wherever, you always have ambulance and people, first responders just waiting for a call because you have to expect something may happen. And quite possibly, we're not saying that he might be alive today if there were first responders, but where are the first responders in situations like these? You have to not only prepare for police to jump in, but ambulance and others in the close proximity of events like this. So I think this point needs to be echoed.
yeah, but brother, but just pay attention. It shows the police. It shows people in a different light. Somebody is injured, you can save their life. But you're doing something to help the situation, and this is important. And sometimes it makes a big difference. Getting care within the first 5 minutes. I mean, you have medical doctors in Grenada who knows that. I assume the police should be doing some first aid. They should know that. And police need to be trained in first as first responders to incidents. They've only seen many times. So we have a serious problem in that regard, and we need to address. I mean, the court has to take the law has to take its court. The police has to do the investigation and so forth. But we have another serious problem that we need to look at. Moving ahead. I mean, I know that the report said there will be some inquiry in the magistrate court in St. Mark in Victoria on the 25th of August. Is that court operational? Magistrate court? If I'm mistaken, it has not been operational because there is a problem with the building. I don't they move it to elsewhere. So we need to look at and address those situations before it gets too far. Police community relations needs to be addressed in a very serious way. I mean, even the police response, people who are speaking to the outside. The first response is to lift your gun and point at the crowd. You could speak to people. The police did not even have a mobile PA system, a handheld to speak to people and say, calm, you need to have that when you have those large events.
Right. And the procedures, again, I'm not privy to the procedures in the case of if someone gets shot. But what I've seen in other territories is that if someone is shot, the EMS comes in and they try to render some sort of life-saving treatment on the scene there and quickly put him in the ambulance and get him to the police to the hospital as quick as possible. In this case, I don't know how long he was laying there, but it's all about time. And we're not saying that all of this stuff probably would have saved his life because, as far as what I heard, the injuries sustained was a direct hit to the head. So we don't know. But what are the procedures if something were to happen? In this case, someone got shot. What's next? What are the emergency life-saving treatment or process to try to get the person assistance to the hospital? What is it?
Junior, one other point. One of our problems as a people, Grenada, is that we always react instead of being proactive. If we take a proactive approach to things, we'll be better off. So after the incident, people were upset. You had police vehicles from by the court all the way to by the nutmeg pool. They were not there before. They were there. There were still people hanging out. There were still people drinking after a street event. There's still lots of people in the area all over. But we did not have a proactive approach to policing. So we have to take responsibility for our inaction and our reaction in terms of dealing with the situation after the fact, after the fact, after the fact. Let us take a proactive approach to life and to policing and to community relations, to healthcare and all of that, and we will see things differently and we will see changes in our life and in our community.
All right.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much.
To the police and the family.
Thank you so much,
Thank
caller.
you.
We appreciate you. 718-701-5720. We're talking about this incident and everything really surrounding it. We again want to send out our condolences to the family of Wellington Welch. Again, I met this gentleman one time, very briefly, and from what I remembered, he was just a cool spirited guy. He was just calm, and I went up by the hotel, not the hotel, the area that he worked, and we met him there. And I remember he saying something to me. I can't remember, but the vibe that I got from him was a really cool spirited guy, and I know to have something like that happen, his family, I can't imagine what they're going through. His kids, his friends. I have a friend that she can't stop crying whenever she thought about this. He was a really good community guy, right? Someone that will break up a fight. He don't get involved in altercations like that. So he's not someone that people would say, okay, he instigate problems, issues. No. What I heard about Willow, he's a all-around good guy, right? And I can't imagine what the family is going through. So we send out our condolences for their loss. And again, it might be even very difficult to keep hearing this conversation. So as the family said, she went there and not able to see the person. That was probably some kind of justification. At least they see the person, right? They didn't get that satisfaction. And that's pissing a lot of people off. But we're still taking your call, guys, at 718-701-5720. That's 718-701-5720. On this innocent guy. Ship is saying that he was the life of the party. Fun guy. Yes. All right, guys. So I wanna touch on this. The next quick story. I'll give Jerry one more call and see if he's available. Otherwise, we may have to reschedule Jerry. Guys. Hopefully not, but it's kind of running late. And I really wanted Jerry input on the question of bail. The Jerry line still ringing out. All right, guys. Okay. No Jerry yet. So let me switch into another quick story, guys. Right? I want your feedback on this, because this is pissing off a lot of people. Now, the newly elected Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamala Persad-Dosesa, just organized her administration, and during her first speech as Prime Minister, one of the things that she said, as she did say during the campaign trail, is that she would move forward in signing and creating legislation, stand your ground laws, and laws that put more firearms in the hands of, well, law-abiding citizens. And there's a clip that's circulating where she said, fire up the matic in a way like, to a lot of people. The idea is, in order to curb the crime, or somebody coming to your home, what would stop a bad man with a gun is a good man with a gun. More legal firearm to get rid of the illegal firearm. I want to know what's your take on this story right here. Here's what I think, right? When this whole NRA, or I see a lot of Republicans supporting this initiative, I have a major problem with that, because what it does is it basically creates a proliferation of firearms. It basically said, okay, your neighbor has a firearm, the neighbor next to you has a firearm, so you have to get a firearm too, and then the whole entire block is like everyone have guns pointing at each other. Now, I don't know if that would actually curb gun violence. I think it would increase in a lot of ways, because the thing about it is who have a bigger gun at the end of the day, right? Because you might think, okay, well, you're going to get a 45 or whatever the case is. Most of the guys on the street, or most of the guys who might be in the gangs, they have assault rifles. They have machine guns, much bigger than your 45. So at the end of the day, it's going to come to a point where it's who have the bigger guns and who have the bigger guns and getting bigger and bigger and bigger guns. So I have a real problem with it personally. That's just my point of view. But I want to hear your point of view. Do you think that getting more guns and putting firearm in the hands, or more legal firearms out there, will somehow curb gun violence? Give us a call. Let's talk about it. And also, what will be the impact on having so much guns on the other Caribbean islands? Already, we're seeing that a lot of guns are getting trickling down, and some of it started off as a legal firearm. But all it takes to be illegal now is for somebody to get a hold of it. Somebody robbed somebody stole it from someone. Somebody went into someone's house and they get it, or whatever the case is. It started as a legal firearm, and then it was somehow obtained, and then someone commit a crime with it, and then it start to go all over. Next thing you see it in other islands. So will that affect other islands as well? Grenada Prime Minister have a very strong stance on illegal firearm. How would that affect the other islands, right? Because obviously more people will apply for firearm, more people coming in, because Trinidad don't make firearms, right? Most of it come from the United States. What will happen now when there are so much guns on the streets, legal and illegal firearm? Give me a call, guys. Let's talk about it. 718-701-5720. It's a very interesting conversation that we need to have. Right. It's a very interesting conversation that we need to have. And next week, I wanna bring in a panel to discuss this. My view is how I feel, but that doesn't mean that it's a universal view that everyone shares. There are a lot of people who believe that this would work. There are a lot of people who feel like, yeah, this is great. Make it easier for people to obtain firearm. Business owners, yeah. Just make the process a lot easier. But what does that mean at the end of the day? All right, Gordon saying that all we need to do is make firearms legal. Okay. Okay. All right, Kibbs. Too many guns on the street. Damn right. It's very sad and sickening to see the government went in parliament and passed the gun bill, and we yet to see real changes from our jurisdiction. They are failing the nation, and we need to rise up and demand the judge to do the right thing. In Grenada, guys, and other territories, we have St. Lucia. There was a major um, series of incidents involving guns in a place called View Fort in St. Lucia, where I believe about quite a few people got shot, right? It's just an influx of guns. It's simply too much guns on the street. And as I said, all the guns didn't start off as illegal firearm. It only got to being an illegal firearm after someone stole it from someone, or someone illegally sold it to someone, or someone broke into someone's home and took it without the other person knowing and commit a crime with it. Then it became an illegal firearm. And then it gets on the street, and there are just more illegal firearms on the street, right? And then the question again of who have the bigger gun? Yeah? Who has the bigger gun? Chanel Charles is saying that I believe a lot of innocent people will get killed wrongfully because of this. Let's go through the comments. Yeah. It will be using a problem to solve a problem, which will result in having two problems. Okay? All right. So Rhonda saying Rhonda has a different view, and I appreciate your point of view. Rhonda is saying that sometimes we need to fight fire with fire. I'm assuming you saying that the way how to get rid of illegal firearm is put more firearm in the hands of people who are authorized to use it. But again, that's a very controversial story or statement to make. Lydia says, Junior, in the United States, there are more guns than people. We don't want that for the Caribbean. And that is true. The guns are not made in Trinidad. The guns are not made in Grenada. The guns are not made in St. Lucia, Dominica. None of the Caribbean islands make guns. The truth and the fact is, some person had a legal firearm, purchased a firearm, either put it in a barrel or put it in something and sent it down to the Caribbean. Immediately, then and there, it becomes illegal. Because that gun probably was used in violent crime in the United States or Canada to a lesser extent. And now it is in the hands of people who not even supposed to or know how to use a firearm properly. Right? And I just feel, and there are some guns. Oh, Vicklin says stop making firearms, period. That's not going to happen. Firearms and the creation of firearm is a big political hot button in the United States. The NRA, National Rifle Association, they support senators, presidents. They're a lobby. They're a lobby organization. And a lot of people who get voted into the Senate and into the House of Representatives in the United States, they got there because they got funding and support from the NRA. And if they pay the piper, you got to sing, right? You got to sing the tune. So when they get in, into administration, they have to do as the NRA mandated them to do. So they can't do nothing else. They can't do nothing different. That is what they have to do. They have to sing the tune. So I don't think that America would always would rid itself of firearm. In fact, in a lot of cases, any senator who goes up too strongly against the National Rifle Association, they're probably going to get voted out of the Senate or the House, because that organization has that amount of power. What I think, we as a Caribbean region, where we are a friendly group of people, I remember at some point in time, if we had altercation, there was this guys who was, I mean, they call themselves gang, but Beast came in and Beast and them dismantled them gang and them in no time, and because they didn't have no guns, like they didn't have all these firearms. No, man, it's like they flaunting it. It wasn't like that before. It's just more guns and more guns, and they're not gonna stop making guns. They're gonna keep making more powerful guns. Some criminal elements outside today, their guns are even bigger and more powerful than some police officers, what some police officers have. All right, reply to Rose. Okay. What Rose said. Putting guns in these people that may turn on their own family. So Kamala better rethink her suggestion. Now, this is her campaign. This is the administration campaign. I'm just wary about what the conversation would be from the smaller islands in CARICOM to that, right? I'm just thinking now, what would CARICOM position be on this? When you say make it easy for folks to get guns and stand your ground, You guys remember Trayvon Martin, the young kid from Florida, and he was killed. He was shot and killed by a community police guy, right? And the guy said he thought he had a gun, but the guy had some. Trayvon Martin had, I believe, Skittles or whatever. So the guy stand his ground, shot Trayvon Martin, killed the young man, and his defense was stand your ground. And he got off. He's free, right? And Trayvon Martin, if I'm mistaken, I think that was his name. He didn't have no gun. He posed no real threat, but he was killed, and the person who killed him got away. So the stand your ground rule that I hear the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago talking about, I would really like clarity and understanding what's the framework? Like, how is it going to work? Are we talking about the same stand your ground that we saw in the United States? Are we talking about the same thing? Are we talking about the same thing? It'd be interesting to note. All right, guys. So I'm pretty clear now that Jerry's not gonna get a chance to come on, but I really gonna have to get Jerry back on sometime next week, so we could get this clarification on the bail and what one need to do in order to get bail. I want to clear this thing up again. I understand. Oh yeah, that was his name. Yeah, I understand that there are people. There's nothing wrong, or there's nothing going on in there that uh, enable the police officer today to get bail. There are many other regular people that are not police officers that are out on bail right now for non-capital murder. So nothing wrong with that. What I wanted to get from a legal perspective are the conditions that need to be met in order to obtain the bail. Well, we didn't get Jerry today, but I promise you guys we're going to get Jerry sometime next week, and he'll come and chat with us on that. All right? So it's what's pissing you off. A lot of things pissing you guys off. Also, guys, also someone sent me this, because we only do this on Tuesday. Someone sent me this in regards to immigration. They're saying that they want us to give them full disclosure, full information on the meme that was going around, or the clip that was going around, stating that the Trump administration is giving $1,000 for undocumented migrants, immigrants in the United States to leave, right? And I promise you, sometime this week we'll have our Deanna Winterfunde, who is an immigration lawyer, to clear that up as well, right? So we're gonna have that, I promise you, within this week. Deanna Winterfunde will be live with us to clear that up. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being a part of our program today. Remember, Tuesday is your day. What's pissing you off? All right? What's pissing you off? Continue to chime in. Continue to post on our thread. What's pissing you off? Listen, nobody can mad at you for pissing you off, you know. Put it in. Put it in. Yes. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program today. Still in the Spice Isle. I'll be back in New York in the next couple of days. We'll come from our other studio. We have some other travels to make. Be in Canada in just a couple of days as well. Looking forward to see you guys. Canada. Peace out, and thank you very much for watching. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for sharing. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Good night.
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot-type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up. Several notches. But the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
Looking for the ultimate island experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
Ride along live, worldwide. Feel the beat, feel the vibe. Amazing host leading the ride. Power to the people, we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host we belong.